What's really good, posters? I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is the Hit List, the unofficial official power ranking for the challenge season 35, Total Madness. Tyler, what's really good with you, man?
Man, I'm kind of in shock right now. I want to know what's happening on that episode, but we got a cliffhanger for the first time in a couple seasons, so I'm on the edge of my seat, but I'm feeling good.
I'm really excited about that. It does seem like a well placed cliffhanger, not like some of the bullshit during like the final reckoning days. Question I got for you though: did Rogan do that on purpose?
Oh, 100%. I mean, right after he put him on the ground, he put his hand on the back of his head and pushed it into the ground on his way to get up. And so he completely did that on purpose.
Now, I'm 100% fine with the little head pushing thing, but anybody who's wrestled, anybody who's been in combat sports, know when you grab somebody from behind and you hold that arm and you slam them on that side, we all know what's going to happen. You don't have an arm to defend yourself. He did it on purpose. And it's okay to want to hurt people in the physical elimination. You never intentionally injure somebody, especially somebody who's half your size. It was unnecessary. It really just struck the wrong chord. It seemed like a real dirty, nasty thing to do.
Yeah, it's completely dirty and it's nasty. It's unnecessary, and I don't know. This is all D's fault. So
100%. Were you surprised that she actually voted for Jay?
no, because she's just trying to get back with Rogan is all she's trying to do, and so she's gonna use anybody she can to get her way. And unfortunately, Jay got caught up in D playing him, and now she's back where she is, and she's happy. So
That whole entire situation is foul, but let's go ahead and start breaking down these power rankings. Let's go ahead and take a look at the basement. All right, so the basement is broken up from number 24 to number 19. At 24, we got Melissa, Nani, Maddie, Kyle, Big T, and at number 19, we got Fessy. So let's talk about your number 24 spot, Melissa. She gets some camera time, pipes in every now and then. For me, I think Melissa is probably the person who benefits the most for being in the basement. She's not getting into any fights. She's not starting no trouble. She's playing decently enough where she's not a target of anybody. If not Melissa, who do you feel like benefits the most at being in the bottom of the power ranking?
I mean, I think it's Kyle as well. I know Wes kind of threw my vote to be like funny or whatever, but realistically, Kyle is on nobody's radar. Kyle doesn't look like he's a big threat, but he's not easy enough to beat in elimination. You're just going to throw him in and take him out right away. Like, Kyle's just hanging out. That's all he's doing.
I
He's
think,
literally just living on Geordie Shore right now.
in fact, I actually think Kyle is having like the time of his life. This is probably the easiest challenge he's ever had since his first season.
There's a reason for that. We won't have to get into it, but there's a reason why he's relaxed and having fun.
What could possibly be the reason?
He has no stress of love in his heart or on his mind. So that's all it is, man.
Let's go ahead and talk about your number 19 spot, Fessy, falling down 5 spots. Pretty big drop. What's going on with Fessy?
For some reason, Fessy just can't get interviews. I don't know why, but this is 5 weeks in, and I think he's at a combined like 4 interviews. It's not very good. However, he does perform well in the daily challenges, but outside of him performing, if MTV didn't edit his name in a little bar at the bottom, I'd have no idea he was even there. And if he wasn't like in the background of every fight, just like making a face, I would have no idea either. So he just needs more camera time. He needs more of a personality. Like, we get it, you're an athlete. What else do you bring to the challenge?
Absolutely. We all know that he got a girlfriend back at home, so probably why we're not seeing him in any relationships. Let's go ahead and take a look at the mid tier, the meat and potatoes. So we got number 18 to number 11 is going to make up tier 2. At number 18, we got Jenna. At number 17, we got Nelson moving up 6 spots. 16, Kaycee, then Kayla, Bailey, Tori falling 8 spots. Sheesh. Anissa at number 12 and Josh at number 6. All right, so we got the Barbie Beast Jenna moving up 4 spots. Why? Because she got an interview with Zach,
I mean,
and Zach didn't seem like a complete douche.
she had 6 interviews. She had a lot of camera time. She was working with her best friend and her relationship, caring about her, showing the positivity of a relationship there, showing that her and Zach are good, even though the challenge is recording one of them and they're not fighting. And she did really well in the daily challenge as well. So, I mean, altogether, she finally had an episode that we expect her to have on a consistent basis.
She did do pretty well, but and I understand everybody wants camera time and everybody wants interviews, but like looking out for Kayla, making sure she's doing well. Why does this equal up to more power that she's having? Yeah, it equals up to a couple more camera time, but in the game it doesn't actually equal up into anything. Except maybe her and Kayla are more buddy buddy.
I mean, but it's keeping her number one level headed, essentially, is how I look at it. Instead of letting like Kayla right now is like a puppy that sees a squirrel running across the fence, and that's Bear. Bear's a squirrel just running across the
He's trying
fence.
to get a
Your
nut.
attention. He's trying, yeah, and that's and he'll get your attention, and then he'll back away, and then he'll get your attention again. And if Kayla's too focused on that, she's not going to be in the game. She's going to make mistakes. Jenna knows this. Even if she's just being a good friend, the second motive to this is that she's keeping her level-headed, or at least trying.
Real life drama aside, is this Kayla Bear thing? Is this going to affect Kayla's or Bear's game negatively or positively? Which way do you see that going?
Here's the thing. I've always seen on the challenges when somebody falls into a relationship during the show or like a constant hookup or something, they get comfortable, they get complacent, and they start making mistakes because instead of just worrying about themselves, now they're worrying about another individual. But they feel relaxed because they get to cuddle every night where everybody else is stressing. So it's like a weird up and down roller coaster, and it creates chaos, creates stress. And I hardly ever see anybody that finds a new long-term relationship win these shows during these things when the initial hookup happens. So, I mean, I think this is going to end up affecting them negatively in daily challenges. And if they end up in elimination, they're going to have their mind in some other place.
All right, let's talk about your number 16 spot. You got Kaycee jumping up 5 spots. Good jump for her. I did notice she got a couple more interviews, but all of her interviews seem to be her just describing the events surrounding her, with her never actually having to participate in it. The most we got out of her is that she was in the tribunal. She mentioned that she doesn't have a really good relationship with Nelson, and they want to pick Nelson's head for who the fuck knows why. There are so many other big competitors who brains you could pick and trade this tribunal position in for a little bit of power later on, but they pick Nelson, who just says, hey, I'm Corey's friend and I'm not working with Wes. It seems like a total waste. What do you make of Kaycee at this point? Even though she had a big jump this season, how does she stay in this mid tier, moving on to the top tier?
Well, she has a big jump this week, like for all the reasons you said. Plus, this is 2 weeks in a row that she has outperformed what she's been doing in the past, and she's finally showing up for all this hype that Big Brother's been giving her. She's finally kind of showing up here, and she's exactly like Fessy, in my opinion. She's the female version of Fessy. You're athletic, you're in shape, I get it. What else do you bring? And you know what? Even though all she's kind of doing is like, this is what you do, then we did this on the daily, whatever. You know what? Somebody has to take that role, and if MTV's trusting her with it, and we're going to see it more consistent, cool. That's awesome. I'll take it. I think that she is going to continue to move up because she's such a dominant force in these dailies. And I think she's going to learn more. I mean, look at Big T last season versus this season. It was way different in her 2 episodes. And now Kaycee is probably going to see this. All right, why the hell did I even talk to Nelson? I should have called Corey in here, who actually would have told me something. I mean, compared to Nelson, like if you wanted to find out information from that group, you don't go to the dog that's just like there to fight. You go to the person that's like, you go to the, I don't want to call Corey the dog owner, but Corey's in charge. Corey's in charge of the group. So you want to go to the person in charge, and he'll tell you more because Nelson's just there to bite people's heads off if he can. He's just there to fight. That's all he's there for.
Is TYB really missing Hunter at this point? Because this seems like it'd be great to have him in at a time right now.
I think he is, because what TYB has going for them at all times is their charm, how they're laid back and easygoing, and how the fact that they're always going to give you 110% if they're your partner. That's like their 3 main things. And Hunter,
I feel like 3 amigos.
Yeah, and I feel like Hunter has more charm about it, because like Nelson's just going to punch people eventually. Corey's just going to try and sleep with somebody, and Hunter It's just gonna like get overly emotional. However, it's kind of endearing. It draws fans in for some reason. I think they could really use Hunter here. You know what I do like about this is that Hunter was working with Wes, and now he's gone, and the rest of TYB's like, well, looks like Wes is our new mentor. Like,
All right, before we get into the top 10, let's talk about your number 11 spot. Josh, who actually moved up 6 spots. Now, all right, he won, but I will have to think any power that he gained from being in the tribunal was instantly wasted away. Wes ethered him in his own tribunal. I got a poll going up on Twitter over what was more embarrassing, him trying to fuck Amanda and not, or Wes just ethering him in front of the tribunal. I think this is one of the most, and for a show like The Challenge, this has to be one of the most humiliating moments ever, and I loved it. How did you feel about it?
People don't do, and we'll get to what happened a little more when we move to the top tier, but people don't back down how Josh did. Like, Josh served up Wes and was like, hey, man, we're this thing. And if he's trying to set up a future rival season, good on him. He needs to push, get a good rival. We don't need Ashley coming back to be his partner. The Ashley guy, Kane, it just didn't fit for me. But, I get it. But then the fact that Wes got everything he wanted out of this and Josh didn't just like fight back and just send Wes in was kind of, I don't know, it's a double-sided coin, because what do we always say? Everybody's too emotional. They play with their emotions. They throw people in when they get insulted. He didn't do that. However, that would have been the smart thing to do in this situation. Like, if you're Josh, take out everybody that you can't beat in a final. Like, Corey said it out loud to everybody, and Leroy has been known to say it like 7 times on the bunk beds. Like, yeah, I want all of you guys gone. And Josh is like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. Why? Why doesn't make sense? But you know what? Josh had 13 interviews today, is what I got in my count. I could be off by 1 or 2. I'm always missing things a little bit here or there. But this episode had more personal one-on-one interviews than I had seen in any episode.
That A block was almost all drama. It took us a long time to get to that daily. Yeah. And you realize that's almost half the episode, as in the daily didn't really last that long. It was pretty much all A block drama. The Jay and Rogan stuff, the Jenna stuff, the Kayla stuff. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the top tier. The big dogs of the lot. All right, at number 10, we have Swaggy C. Did Swaggy have no movement?
And he moved up a little bit. So, my bad. He moved up 2 spots if I didn't give you that.
All right. We got Corey at number 9. Jordan at number 8. Bear at number 7. We got Jay at number 6, dropping 3 spots. Moving up 3 spots, we have Jenny at number 5. D at number 4. Bananas. Then we got Rogan at number 2, moving up 4 spots. And at number 1, the king of it all, Wes at number 3.
Number 1, moving up.
Oh, I'm sorry, moved up 3 spots, and now he's number 1. Let's talk about your number 7 spot, Bear. Bear moving up 2 spots to number 7. Because he got to make out with Kayla, got a couple more interviews. Once again, this is a time where your power ranking puts a little bit too much into, they're getting some camera time, but it's not weighing up to any real power in the game. I mean, Kayla has the Holy Trinity, and they have done jack shit all game except keeping their votes close together.
But here's the thing. He set a goal and he accomplished it.
Some bullshit.
It is a little bit bullshit. So like, I like to look in depth on these things, and I like to kind of play. I like to think of all options on why he did this. And if, in my eyes, he's being a mastermind by gaining 3 votes with 1 makeout. And that's what he's trying to do. Like, that's what I look at. And it kind of worked, because Kayla didn't want to say his name. And she could have. She easily could have, just to, like, get him away. But she didn't. You know why? Because he's been flirting with her. She likes him now. He's funny. Okay, well, if Kayla's not going to vote for him, Nani and Jenna, maybe they won't either. I'm just saying, it is strategy. And you know what? If you have to be that guy or girl to politic that way, I mean, it's his game. It's his game. He took Kyle's model and he's doing it better.
He is. Oh, still sleazy. This is what bringing the UK does. They definitely brought the sleaze to an already sleazy show. Let's go ahead and jump to your number 4 spot. You got D falling 3 spots, which I get because I get why Wes and Rogan are moving up, but D was one of the people that Wes sought out to bounce ideas off of. Also, she made a pretty bold statement and a kind of a power move. We're also voting for Jay. It seemed like this girl is really, really making moves, and she definitely was pushing to get Jay to get Rogan voted in. So I don't think that dropping 3 spots, even though it is tight, I don't really think it's appropriate for this time.
I mean, for me, it's just because she set up Jay for failure. Like, she just did him dirty in my eyes. Because if she doesn't flirt with him, that never happens. They never make out. Rogan doesn't target Jay, and none of this happened. You know what I mean? So, like, all of this whole thing is D's fault. And because everybody's so on board with the voting for Jay, it's because of D that Jay went in, and Wes's plan to vote in Jordan didn't have the numbers. So although she's there to bounce off ideas off of Wes and help out and everything, she sabotaged Wes's own plan 2 weeks ago.
Why do you think Wes has such an issue with getting the numbers against Jordan?
I just think that Wes understands, like he said, like what did he say against Josh? I'm not afraid of you in a final. Okay, well, who's maybe the best final runner of this era? Is probably Jordan. Realistically, the only reason he doesn't have 4 wins is because Marlon is a fish that can't swim. That's the one reason. Otherwise, he might have 4 wins. Jordan is the biggest threat to win this game every time he makes it to a final. I wouldn't bet against him in any option. He fell out. He crash landed while skydiving and still beat Derek, who everybody is praying to get sent back into the challenge because he's so good at everything. And Jordan did it with 1.5 legs. So I'm just like, Jordan's that impressive.
He is impressive.
Too.
One of my favorite things, the only thing that I like about Jordan is the fact that he's never scared to go into elimination. If his bell is rung, his bell is rung. He goes in and he handles business. And he only got that, he's that good. It's the only, I like the fact that he's not scared to go in there and handle business. But let's go ahead and jump into the number 2 spot. You got Rogan moving up 4 spots. That's a real tough one. Why do you have Rogan moving up so much before we see the outcome of this elimination?
Because right now, as it stands, Jay's not getting up. And I'm assuming they're going to come back and they're going to be like, holy cow, Jay, I think your arm might be broken. And Jay's going to be like, I'm okay. I can try through. And then it's not going to work. And Rogan's going to walk home with the win. Like,
let me ask you.
This happened before with, sorry to interrupt again, but this happened before with Jordan and Ammo back on Dirty 30. Like, when the first hit happened, they didn't just like leave it with like Ammo quitting, They finished out even though Ammo was broken down. I think that's what might happen here. Jay might be broken, and
if Rogan gets a red skull, does he go to the final?
I mean, his approach to this is perfect. He's doing what CT would do, and that's he's trying to inflict as much pain as possible into Jay so nobody will want to face him. Because if he's nominated to go in and it's a physical elimination, they might steer clear because those aren't popcorn muscles. The former rugby player actually is strong. They might stay away. I mean, here's my thing though. If let's say he wins, I think he will be safe for a while because he's got such a backing and so many friends in this house. But if somebody sees like a puzzle down the line, he might get thrown in.
All right. Let's talk about the number 1 spot. You got Wes moving up 3 spots, but you got Wes moving up above people like a Bananas, who has been laying low, and a Rogan, who's really stepping up. So what is Wes doing that's keeping him at the top, and what does Wes have to do so he stays at the top?
Wes called out Jordan to his face and Josh to his face, and nobody had the balls to send him in. Like, that just blows my mind because Corey just said, I don't want to run against you guys, and then was automatically targeted for weeks on end back on Dirty 30. And Wes
he had a hit list though.
He had a hit list, but all he said was, "You guys are scary," and they were like, "All right, you're in." That's all it was. He had no power, and Wes is the guy who can get power. we've seen it before. If you let West stay around, he's like bananas. They're the same person. If you let them stay around for too long, when they don't have power, they're gonna get it back, and they're gonna fuck you over in the end. So in my eyes, that's what's so impressive about it. He looked at Jordan, called him a dick, called him out, and then told pretty much everybody in the house that he's gonna vote for Jordan. And Jordan knew this, and West didn't go in. Then Josh has an opportunity, and he tells Josh, "You're not a threat to me. I'm never gonna say your name because you're not gonna beat me in a final," and humiliates him. And just he didn't have to do him dirty like that. It was like a boxing match, and he already knocked out Josh, but Josh was slowly falling, so he hit him again as he was falling.
And once
It was
again,
just,
Wes is in the
man.
tribunal and he gives up nothing. They don't get to pick his brain. You don't know which way he's leaning. He just says, "You're not on my level. I'm not even worried about you. So vote
Swaggy was
however you're going to
laughing.
vote."
Swaggy leaned back so Josh didn't see him. Was like, "Holy cow!" Like,
Yes, another embarrassing moment for Josh. These are the things that keep me watching the show. But it's almost time to go record Love War Challenges podcast. That's going to do it for us. Thank you guys for sticking around. We're going to be doing this every week. Make sure you check us out at 10:30. And right now, we are streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So you can catch us anywhere you feel comfortable. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys next week. Once again, I am MTV Malik. He is Tyler Louder. This is The Hit List, the unofficial official power rankings for the challenge, season 35. Good night, guys.
see ya.